Hey guys, Chris here. Welcome to my channel first off. This is my first video that I've ever uploaded. So just a little bit of a backstory about me. I enjoy firearms. I enjoy shooting them. I enjoy hunting. And I enjoy target practice, sighting in rifles. And most of all, enjoy feeling the different calibers and how they feel and what they do. Um, Today's video is going to be a little bit of a sidetrack from what I expect my future videos to be like, but that's because I have something really pressing on my mind when it comes to ammunition and the recent stockpiling that I've been seeing people do with ammunition when it comes to just afraid of what's coming down the pipe for certain rounds, certain types of guns, certain calibers, certain styles, that kind of thing. So I'm going to jump right into it because I really felt like explaining to you what happens when you do something like that. So I have a few different rounds here, and I'm going to pull them out so that we can look at them, inspect them together. Give me a couple seconds here. So a couple different rounds here. I'll go through them each box by box so that you can see what the different kinds are, what they are, how they play into the scenario. So the first box, 308 Winchester steel case. Now this is a lacquer coated steel case, full metal jacket, great for sighting in a rifle. Second one, another one, soft point, cellular billet, another nice round, 6.5 Creedmoor, really nice round. 17 HMR, 5.56 NATO green tip, no longer really distributed by X-Tac because Winchester actually took over the government contract for the green tip, the 62 grain green tip military. That's now a Winchester round instead of a X-Tac PMC Norma federal round. And last but not least, the 7.62 by 39 AK round, 123 grain hollow point steel case, polymer coated round. And then obviously a couple rounds that I don't have the cases out here for. Cellular and billet 9mm, CCI Aguila 22 short, CCI 22 long rifle, and then you saw the cases for the other ones. I'm going to go ahead and pull the rounds out of the box real quick so we can look at all the different rounds here. Some of them look really cute, some of them look really scary, but all in all, they are what they are. But this is more of an introduction to the different rounds, the different guns that I actually have, but also an introduction to proper gun and ammunition maintenance. So with that being said, I've lined them all up here on the table right in front of me so that you can see them all. And they're all different calibers. So 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, 7.62 by 39, 5.56, 9mm, 17 HMR, 22 long rifle, 22 short. I did introduce them a few seconds ago, so you did get a chance to kind of see them. But the reason for this video here is to show you proper maintenance on ammunition. Now, you'll also notice that I have a couple casings sitting out with no bullets in them anymore. You'll also notice if you look at the table, the bullets are on the table behind me. That being said, let's go ahead and get to this. My table's really not letting my camera stay still. Okay. So let's get back to it. Ammo inspection. Because of what's happened over the last year and a half, where people got scared, presidential change, people going after my guns, people going after my ammunition, all this stuff, pricing on ammunition just skyrocketed, and certain people benefited at the beginning by buying thousands upon thousands of rounds of different ammunition, some of which they don't even have the gun for the bullets. Um, Anticipating maybe down the line buying the gun, anticipating a lot of different things. Well, there's positives and negatives, pros and cons to doing that. And the biggest pro to doing that, obviously, at the time was the price was a lot lower. Back a year ago, year and a half ago, I could buy AK-47 7.62 by 39 rounds. I could buy them for $150 to $200 a box of 1,000. Same thing with your 5.56 NATO 223 Remington. I could buy a case of this for about $250. 1,000 rounds for $250. It all depended. Some of them cost me 800. Some of them were 20 cents a round. Others were 25 cents a round, but didn't really jump up to that big number. 17 HMR, one of my favorite bullets to shoot, became almost obsolete at that point because people were buying the ammunition just because it was on the shelf. They weren't buying it because they had the gun to it. I don't know of many people that actually have a 17 HMR, but if you do, please comment down in the comment section below and just take a picture of your 17 HMR, post it up. I would love to see it because that is one of my favorite guns to shoot. It's a very quiet round, very precise round, and it's a very deadly round when dealing with a varmint. And if you're in an area that has raccoons and stuff that are eating your trash, pestering your family, tearing up your house, building up underneath your house, it's a great round to have around because it doesn't disturb the peace with your neighbors. Just saying. But now that we've gone through that, we're not going to touch much more on the actual ammunition at this point. What we are going to touch up on is why maintaining stockpiles of ammunition may not be the best option. And here's why. A couple things. So this is a 5.56 NATO round that I had. Hollow point, beautiful round, 5.56 NATO, 75 grain hollow point round that I purchased about a year and a half back. About a year and a half ago, I purchased maybe 100 of them. Planned on, if I was going to go planking, hunting, that kind of thing, have the round. Well, I was going through my ammo box the other day, just counting up my 5.56 NATO 223 and Remington rounds, and I noticed that 2 of my rounds were showing spots of corrosion. I don't know if you can see that little spot on this round here, the massive spot on this, but the reason why these bullets are completely emptied, no bullet in them anymore, just casings. But the primers have not been discharged because I actually pulled the bullets on these because I'm not planning on shooting these 2 bullets ever. Primarily because with the cases being weakened like this, if you were to chamber that round in the gun, pull the trigger, chances are you'd have no problems with it. But that 1 out of 100 chance that the weak spot on the casing was facing out towards your breech could potentially run, especially on an AR-15, run you into a situation where this round actually on ejection explodes and the bullet doesn't go down the barrel, but the bullet squibs in the barrel. The casing explodes in your face, possibly burning your face. But the worst thing is the following round. The second round that goes in there, if you've got a squib and that bullet's halfway down your barrel, you are exploding your barrel and possibly destroying your entire upper receiver on an AR-15. Upper receivers can run you anywhere from $500 to $3,000 depending on what parts you put in, what caliber you run it. But you want to make sure to keep an eye on your ammunition and figure out what's corroded, what's not. The 3 other bullets, the 9mm that I pulled out, that was a rapid progression into corrosion, not a deterioration over time, but a rapid progression. I had my backup magazine loaded with 12 rounds for my Taurus G2C sitting in my center console in my truck where I always keep it for concealed carry purposes. If I need to reach for it, I've got the backup if I need it. Downside to that is I went in just to check because I routinely make sure that my magazine's there, make sure that everything is functioning. I don't pull it out and shoot it, but just to make sure that everything was functioning. Well, today I pulled it out and I found that the magazine itself had rust showing on it. So I looked down further and I realized that a bottle of Germex was sitting in my center console right next to the magazine, and the Germex had fallen over and started dumping all throughout the entire bottom of my center console. That led to me inspecting the bullets that were inside the 9mm, and out of the 12 rounds that were in the magazine, 3 of the rounds were corroded, even to as minimal as I would look at them, corroded enough for me to want to remove them from the batch, properly discharge them, and within the next couple days I'm going to be taking them out to the range, discharging the primers so that the casings, the primers, and gunpowder are completely dormant. There is nothing that will damage anybody. But just so that you can see what happens, this one's a little chewed up from what I did to the bullet, but if you look closely at the casing itself, you'll see the corrosion towards the base of the casing. Absolute necessity to pulling the bullet. Second one, all of the corrosion goes the whole way around this casing here, all the way down on even to the base stamp on the bullet. With that being said, this particular round was completely unusable. Last but not least, you'll see the biggest one. This was the one sitting closest to the edge of the magazine. Just see where the rust line started, where the corrosion starts up at the top, corrosion even down into the base of the case, and you'll even see, if you look closely, the corrosion on the inside of the casing. This round was the one that told me I needed to do this. This was rapid progression. This is overtime. Keep your eye out for stuff like this because it's dangerous. It can kill the operator. But that's why you should never stockpile more ammunition than you're going to cycle through. Now here, biggest proponent to keeping ammunition and knowing, okay, I've got this much ammo sitting for this particular firearm at any given time, that would be me. However, you have to make sure that you're first in, first outing it as well. Meaning, if you buy 1,000 rounds of AK-47 ammunition, if you buy 1,000 rounds of AK-47 ammunition, you want to go through 1,000 rounds of AK-47 ammunition, and if you buy your second 1,000 a couple months later, make sure you go through that first 1,000 before you even worry about going through that second 1,000. If you live in a place, store your ammunition in a location, or anything like that that is not climate controlled and not moisture controlled, make sure that you're inspecting your rounds before you take them out to the range and before you take them out to the field, because you would never want to run into a position with a high power, larger caliber rifle round doing something that a 9mm could do. The amount of pressure coming out of this case is beyond belief, and in the event that you were to find corrosion on this case, you would want to make sure to dismantle the round, take the gunpowder out, discharge the primer, and discard the round. With that being said, guys, always, guns are tools, not toys. Treat them with the utmost respect. Gun safety is always number one. Please, in the comment section below, if you go through your ammunition, show me any corrosion that you may find on your ammo. But as always, have fun, be safe, and I'll see you on the range in a couple days.